Raid just took a crazy turn. Now, maybe I'm interpreting this wrong. I don't think so, but I think they just revived free-to-play. I really think they did. A lot of the new information that we've seen from their What's Next video, the breakdowns of the Blessing, is really on the side of free-to-play players and not on the side of pay-to-win. Do I think they're going to make it pay-to-win? Yes. However, I think it's going to make the gameplay of free-to-play players a lot easier, so let's dive into just why. What up, team? It's your boy MurderInc here, talking about Blessing System, that new altar we're gonna get. And listen, this is like they're adding more shards to the game 100%. I've seen people say it. I couldn't agree more. What's the difference? We can't farm shards. We can farm the currency to buy these items. There's going to be a rotating vendor, kind of like the life token vendor that we see, I believe, from the token trader here. It's kind of going to be like this, but we can farm these life tokens, and every 6 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, things like this are going to refresh. So why is this going to be better for the free-to-play player? Because free-to-play players can be heavily limited based on the champions they get. They're not getting an abundance of shards in this game. Fusions are slowing. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about that. That's a totally separate topic, but they're slowing free-to-play players down significantly. Maybe I'll make a video called Raid Fusion Legends because it's a bad direction of the game and I'm not a fan of it, but that's besides the point. Fusions are distracting free-to-play players. They're spending their resources there instead of on vertical progression in this game, and it's making them struggle. It's making them take longer to get from point A to point B than it should be in any kind of game like this, because Raid's a good game. It's a very in-depth game. Players love it. I mean, listen, look at the player count. Yes, people are quitting, but this is a way to get those players that are struggling and not spending further into the game, because they can now empower who they have. If they got 1 legendary, 2 legendary, 3, 4, 5, however many they have. Now, if you're watching this saying, no, that's wrong, Murder, that's not true, you're probably a newer player. If you've been playing for a year at minimum, a year or longer, this system is going to benefit you insanely. Think about the legendaries you have. Think about what's holding you back right now. Now picture an additional level of ascendancy on this, something you can target focus with the wish list, having certain champions here. You can get those ascendancies, give them those blessing powers, and it will get you to that next level where you're currently hard-walled right now. So that's why I really do like this. Do I think they're going to monetize it like I said before? 100%. Do I think they're going to sell specific champion? Maybe not. I think they're just going to sell currency. I could be wrong. They could sell specific champion ones, but the fact that even if you get a champion you don't need, you can re-roll it again for a chance to get the proper champion. Are you still losing currency? Yes. Unfortunate. It is what it is, but it's much easier to target. And like I said, it's farmable to a point where there's no shard dungeon. I think a shard dungeon would probably break the game. People would go nuts for it for sure. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I think it would break the game for sure as far as how much money Plarium can make from this. But overall, I think this is going to be the time of free-to-play players. Now, if you're a whale, I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. I think whales got the short end of the stick on this one. This is going to make it mandatory. I cannot stress this enough. Mandatory for you to have 6 ascensions and all of your best legendaries, epics, whatever. You're just going to have to. You're going to fall behind. So there's a lot more pressure for the first time I've ever seen of anything introduced in this game. Usually it's we get Hydra, whales blow right through it. We get Mithrala first and GG easy. Now, it's not the case. Now there's nothing new for an endgame player, which again is probably a topic for a separate video, but the whales are going to have stronger champions and there's just Platinum Arena reset. What else is there? That new boss with the mechanical arms. Do you think someone with an account like mine, just taking a quick look at it, an account like this, then we have the champion vault full of legendaries, reserve vault, nothing in there. I don't even remember putting anything in there, but do you think an account like this isn't going to one-shot that new dungeon, the last level, the first day? Of course I am. Plarium cannot tune anything that's going to make it challenging for me, because then the average player is going to struggle too much and they're not going to be able to hit that level. They don't have anything like in Diablo or any of these other games, not the phone game Diablo, but we're not going to talk about Immortal here, but like the Diablo 2, 3, whatever it is, where there's like infinitely scaling dungeons. They don't have that in this game. Would that be cool? Yeah, because I'd have something to do that would actually challenge myself in an account like this. But as of right now, there is nothing that can touch that. Anyone who has an account like mine, stronger than mine, even weaker than mine, they're going to one-shot any new content on the first day it comes out, like we saw with Hydra, like we saw with Doom Tower, and like we saw with Faction Wars. Maybe not the first pre-nerf Faction Wars. I had a pretty easy time up until the last stage on a few of them because I didn't have the required legendaries, but it is what it is on that topic there. So like I said, unfortunately it's not looking good for the whales, but for the free-to-play, it gives you guys a chance to shine for sure, which I really do like. I think it's a good step in the right direction here. You don't have to buy anything. It's going to be totally optional because we are getting that dungeon that I've already mentioned, and it's going to let you empower the champions that make sense for you. Now, this is where it's going to be important to make sure you're getting the proper information, because you get one free blessing reroll. You're going to have one chance of getting the ascendancy for the champions you need here, and if you're getting it for the wrong champions, you're going to fall behind. It's going to be useless. It's not going to be a good patch for you as a free-to-play player if you're following guides, content creators, whatever it is who's saying, ascend this champion first, game-breaking, insane meta champion, and it's just clickbait, right? You have to really think, and this is where it's going to be put more responsibility onto the free-to-play player to understand how the game works at a higher level of detail and say, okay, do I ascend the champion that is going to push me through the Hydra, or the champion that's going to be mediocre at the Hydra, but it's going to push me through speed farming 25 dungeons, finishing off Faction Wars for Lydia, whatever else you guys have to do. Multifaceted champions that are strong in multiple areas are going to be the key here for ascendancies. Please remember that going forward. If you never watch another video of mine again, or when this system comes out, just remember, targeting a champion for one specific role is a whale's game. It's just a whale's game. Don't try to do that as a free-to-play champion. You're going to fall behind. You have to make sure one champion has a use in many areas, because I don't think it's going to be realistic for you to use this new system of that altar and ascend all the way to 6, 5, 6, 7, 8 legendaries at a time. It's going to take a very long time. As long as it takes to pull 5 or 6 legendaries, I don't think so, because that could take a year of playing for some of you guys who are out there. But my point still does stand, where you're going to have to take personal responsibility, do a lot of research on your own, know the ins and outs of this game. You should never have to ask, is this champion good? You can just quickly go through the skills of them. And I'm mostly talking about champions you don't have. Let me just find what I don't have here. Is Cronin good? I don't have him. I've never played him. I can look at his kit and give a beneficial and educated kind of like guide. Not that I would make a guide, but more for myself and like learning and how I can use this champion. I will know by just reading this guy's kit if he's good for my account or not. This account, of course, is a terrible example because nothing's good for this account. I can do everything, whether it's new, old, it doesn't matter. There's nothing they could come out with that's going to challenge an account like this. But that's not the case for 99% of players, so you have to be able to read a champion's kit, understand how masteries works, think to yourself, okay, if I add a mastery to this champion, what's the deal going to be? How do the base stats affect this? So on and so forth. So I do think this is a step in the right direction for free-to-play players. Now, they can ruin it. They can absolutely ruin it. I could be wrong, but based on the first reaction here, how it's being presented to us, this is going to be a huge win for the free-to-play, and I think that's their goal, to be honest with you. I think the players who, even though they're not making money off of them, it's about them building a base, getting more players to that endgame level, because maybe they think, based on their analytics, that if you guys hit the end game quicker, you're going to be more incited to spend $5 here and there, $10 here and there, maybe $10 a month or $20 a month, whatever it is, whatever they're trying, whatever goal they are trying to hit for sure. That's what they're aiming for in the free-to-play player and overall the player base. What does this do? This is going to shoot everyone much further progression-wise because it's a farmable addition to the game. If this wasn't farmable, if it was like shards where there was a totally separate portal here, we had a new line, daily activities gave us the drops, we summon them, we could buy them in packs, that would be terrible for the game. They would probably make a ton of money. Plarium, for watching, don't get any stupid ideas, I swear. Keep it how you have it. It's good. It's from a dungeon. You get the currency from a dungeon every time you open 10 of those shards. You get more currency, or what was 10, 15, 20, I don't know. You're in the right direction. You have the wish list. All of these things are good for sure. So keep up on this path. You're going to start progressing a lot more of your player base to the end game, which then gets to the problem is, what's the end game? There's not much really. I don't know. There's just not much. If you're end game, are you looking forward to this patch? Probably not. Honestly, probably not. What are we going to get? Some new Cyclops arm guy. He probably has cool mechanics. We're going to one-shot it the first day, like I said already. And then it's back to grinding for Platinum Arena until they release more PvP stuff or something like an endless dungeon cycle here. So that's going to conclude this video. Give me your thoughts. Some people might be very opposed to this idea and say I'm looking at it completely wrong. Give me a collective feedback, something coherent that I can read that will make sense to me as why this patch doesn't directly benefit free-to-play players. Without even having seen what's being sold, I think whatever they sell is irrelevant to this, since you can in fact farm this from a dungeon. So as always, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.